Hi everyone, I'm Robin Gully.
I'm John Justin.
We are your City Council Ward 2 reps here to give a council update. So we just finished the council meeting. It was actually a bit of a long day, but there are just a few things that we really wanted to touch on. We were going to start with...
Some new employees with our police force. We want to welcome new CSOs, community service officers, Isabel Layler and Nicholas Grundhauser, and then two new officers, Garrett Gansky and Raymond Swanson. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining up and keeping us all safe and well.
And we actually had the biggest turnout in our city council that we've had since I've been on the council.
Yeah.
So thank you to all of their family and friends who came out to watch them sworn in at the city. It felt like a very momentous occasion.
Absolutely.
We had a proclamation honoring Native American Heritage Month. So of course we are on Dakota land, and we wanted to honor that in the city of West St. Paul. It's part of our heritage. It's part of our living culture and heritage here in West St. Paul. So we had a proclamation. November is Native American Heritage Month, and November 21st is Native American Heritage Day here in the city of West St. Paul.
Yep. And then in the consent agenda, but just to bring it up, we approved the Marthaler Master Plan for Marthaler Park. So look at that getting fleshed out, more details. We're moving forward on it. It's going to be a staged process. It's a big project. You're not going to knock it out in 1 year. So it's going to be, we're kind of taking it in chunks.
It's in 3 stages.
3 stages, and we'll be able to amend those stages as things develop, because things change, and whatever we find new things to do, things that maybe we don't want to do, but we'll see how that goes over time.
But it's going to be exciting. There's some cool features, like they're upgrading the sledding hill, and they are doing a new picnic shelter with a fire feature.
Permanent bathrooms, trailhead for the bike trail, a lot of stuff, some other stuff that's in the works. We're trying to do, but we don't make promises yet, but they're cool. They're really cool if we can do them.
The possibility of doing some kind of natural playground feature or something that gets the community involved in
observation towers, another thing that's potentially in there. So it's going to, and again, everything is subject to change. This is how this works.
In the very early stages, but please take a look at the master plan and let us know if you have any thoughts about how Marthaler Park gets developed in the next few years. It's going to be exciting.
And then we'll jump to, we did the first reading of an ordinance that I'll just personally say I'm very excited about. Something the Planning Commission, I'm the liaison to that, has been working on since before I was the liaison, that has to do with parking minimums and a bunch of other stuff. So what we're moving forward with at this point is and I won't get into the deep weeds on the districts, but there's the B4 district, which is sort of the shopping center district, and that was allowed to be set back up to 90 feet from Robert Street. And so what we've done is we're moving that up so it follows the same rules as all the other districts. So it'll be 10 to 40 feet setback, which brings those buildings up towards Robert, for pedestrian purposes and all that stuff, which I think personally is a really good move. And then also reducing the available frontage for parking to 50%. Which allows us to have sort of those outlot buildings, and also again pushes those buildings up to the front. So you won't have parking lot with building behind it across the entire site. What you'll see is buildings pushed up, adjoining Robert Street, which just kind of brings the pedestrian feel again and just the general feel. And then in order to do that, the big piece that kind of allows all of this to happen is reduction of our parking minimums by up to 50%, which is a huge part. We're changing from what was based on car culture, where everybody's using cars. Obviously, we need parking for every human being. Now that we see pedestrians and bicyclists and people using public transportation, and just a different view of how cities work, we're modernizing it. And it really is modernizing it. This brings us into the line with what people are expecting these sorts of areas to look at like now. So I think it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing a second reading. There'll be a public hearing, so if you have opinions, feel free to come in and let us know about them. But a big move that's a long time coming. And thanks to the Planning Commission, current and past members who have worked tirelessly on this to move it forward, and thanks to the council and everybody for supporting this at this point. So
the last thing that we talked about tonight was a
Oh, and staff. I'm sorry.
Oh,
and
yeah.
staff. Certainly staff.
Don't forget the staff. They work extremely
Yes,
hard.
they
Our
do.
city
And
staff
yeah,
works
this is not an
extremely
easy
hard.
lift to get this all figured out. Sorry.
The last thing that we talked about was our tobacco ordinance in the city. So we have a plan to go forward with reducing the number of tobacco licenses. Well, not reducing them, maintaining the number of tobacco licenses in the city at 3.
And establishing that as a cap.
Yes.
And I think the discussion tonight actually was that it's possible, and we have 3 licenses now, only 2 of which are active. And obviously we're not freezing anybody out, but if that license at the end of the year stays inactive, that then we would consider reducing it to 2, which wouldn't affect any existing businesses, but I think is a move in the right direction, and certainly something I've heard a lot of support from the community about. And we've got a bunch of other stuff that we're working on regarding tobacco and flavored tobacco and CBD, recreational marijuana. We're trying to get ahead of all of that, but the key thing right now was getting this done and inked so we can move forward with kind of an idea of what we want the city to be like.
Yeah, and that's what all of this is about. Sort of looking at the city that we want to have and what our community and our residents want, and figuring out how we make that happen.
Yeah, how we get there.
So
That's what it's all about,
that's
isn't
what
it?
it's all about.
Or it should be. I think that's it.
That's it.
Not bad. All
Yeah.
right. Thanks a lot for joining us for a conveniently short one.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks
so
everybody.
much.
Bye-bye.